All right. Welcome, everybody, to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 123. Today is Monday, February the 7th of 2022. Thanks for joining us live here as usual on Discord and YouTube. And please be aware that we are recording this call and you can also check it out later in our Horizen podcast in case that you miss any of the updates. Also, please remember to ask your questions on Menti for the team so we can answer the top 3 at the end. Let's kick it off right away, as usual, with our updates from the engineering department. I'll welcome Alberto.
Hello, thank you, Angie. So let's see what we have for today. Let's start from the SDK side, where an important update is that we finished reviewing all the pull requests that were still pending for the Blaze SDK. Therefore, we were able to proceed releasing the new Blaze SDK version 0.3.0 during these days. So stay tuned for that, and look forward for the release. Also related to the SDK, another update is that we finished detailing the list of changes that are needed to be performed for implementing the EVM sidechain project. And in parallel, we already started working on a prototype. So here we're speaking about the sidechain that will integrate an Ethereum virtual machine that will be able to run smart contracts using, obviously, Zen as a gas and not only as gas. And so, the analysis regarding the changes is finished. And a prototype is going on. So you will have more details in the next Weekly Insider. Okay, let's move on the circuit side, where we finished the implementation of the main chain block reference circuit, and we started the testing phase, which is currently ongoing. And meanwhile, we also started a second iteration of code review on the base transaction circuit, and we plan to accomplish this activity this week. Okay, now let's move on the proving system, where first of all, we have performed the benchmarks of the implementation of the TD-log accumulator Marlin prover. And this is needed, for example, for Darlin. Okay, compared to the standard Marlin, the introduction of the D-log and the inner sum check accumulators brings a 40 to 50% improvement in the time needed to generate a proof. So it's a really relevant improvement in terms of timing. And this is very, necessary and particularly beneficial when you need to generate recursive proofs, because you need to generate many proofs, and this kind of activity can be, deferred, and you have the most of the benefits in such kind of scenario. And this will be one of the things that are going to be needed for the Latus SDK implementation, where the recursive proof. Okay, staying on the proving system, we completed the development of an optimization for specific non-native fields, which allows us to simulate multiplications in such fields with much less constraints. This optimization will remarkably improve the performances of the C sidechain withdrawal circuit, but not only to that. And last but not least, staying on the proving system side, we performed the design and implementation of the Fiat-Shamir RNG, both primitive and gadget, updating all the existing code base with it. So that's it for today. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alberto, for providing us with engineering updates. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing section.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. So on the marketing side, we are this week we will be. You probably have already noticed that we are making a lot of changes on Discord. And then the changes will be focusing on making the user experiences better for people, and then increase the engagement. And then the other important part is to make it a safer place for people. to use, and there notice that there some scammers are very active on really on the school environment overall. So we are making some steps to make it a safer environment. And then also, just a teaser, we are going to post something really exciting about the Zenny token everyone's been talking about. So please stay tuned. That's it. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Let's continue with Rosario for the product and engineering updates.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Good afternoon, Horizen. We are at the second month of the year, and last week was the start of the month, but it's just really exciting how much work we have to do and our progress along the way. So last week I mentioned that the MVP for the tokenization platform is on track for the end of Q1. And we look forward to doing a demo shortly after. So looking forward to that, and maybe we do something either here or YouTube and share that with the community. We are also going to be we're making great progress with the game chain. So the game chain itself is complete, and the game developer has over the last few months is making changes to the game. So they've made some great progress, and the game will be ready for internal beta testing, mid-February. So we will be looking for testers. So I'm sure, Lucy, you will be including part of the community as part of that test. And we look forward to launching that game chain shortly after the tokenization chain in April. All right, and that's it for today. So some light updates, making great progress for those goals for the year. So Angie has also added some other. So let me just go through quickly. So the ZK audit proof of concept is near completion. So last week we had a demo from Victor, who went through the Explorer. So when that is ready, we will be deploying that alongside with our partner Celsius, and looking forward to that. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Next, we have Rob for the leadership updates and the Q&A session. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks, Angie. And guys, actually today, after I am done speaking, I'm going to introduce a special new member to the ecosystem who's going to talk about some of the work we've been doing just setting up the Horizen Community Council, at least the legal framework for it. Okay, but before I go into that, what I'll do first is just share that last week I had a series of investor meetings, actually a lot of them, like too many. I was actually really burnt out from them. But BTIG, a big investment bank that has turned into basically a gateway for traditional investors to come into crypto, invited Horizen to basically do an intro and share who we are, what we're doing, what's the vision, what's the strategy, what kind of team do we have, and so forth, so that, just more traditional investors out there, like family offices and other funds, could consider actually supporting Zen in this project if it's something that's interesting to them. And let's see, so basically I had a big group presentation and then multiple side sessions that basically spanned all day on Thursday. So that's what I was doing. And the reason I'm mentioning this, number one, is great exposure for Horizen, but also importantly, as I was pitching over and over and over, it really did just get me back to basics. And I know that we talk strategy, we talk ecosystem growth, we really talk about like our technology and where we're heading. We talk specific projects like tokenization, like EVM, we talk specific technologies. But it is good to repeat, though, what the overall strategy is. It is good to repeat where we're going, and it really derives elegantly from where we've come. So let me just give you guys a recap of some of these conversations that I had. And it did start off with, how we got to where we are today, and then a snapshot for these potentially new people into our ecosystem to understand, what we're all about, who we are, and that story. So, we have a bit of an interesting history when you get into the details, but basically I'll say we wedged our way into this market, into the crypto market, with a narrow goal, and we were focusing on privacy technology. In the early days, and that's really what it was. And what it did was it afforded us the ability to build out the small core team based on that skill set. Really just getting, hiring new engineers, getting new talent in-house across the organization, just getting good at operating, and then building our skill sets around blockchain technology, obviously, but then zero knowledge cryptography, importantly. And that really led us to Zendoo. And you guys have heard me talk so much about Zendoo, and Zendoo, we deliver it in December, but this sets us up for, really gets us on track for the bigger goal. So what is that bigger goal? And that bigger goal, I would say, is to be the blockchain backbone for the world, right? As ambitious as that could possibly be, right? You come into the market and with a very narrow goal of, working on bringing privacy to public ledgers or to blockchains, and then to expand that to we want our blockchain or our system of blockchains, our platform that's enabled through Zendoo, really to be pervasive across the industry, across the world. Now, we can do this in a number of ways. By focusing on two core principles, compatibility and interoperability, it's led us to exactly where we are today. And this quarter, you've heard an update on our delivering a tokenization platform. And again, I want to stress why this is important. Yeah, big first delivery with Zendoo. Not such a big deal to be able to issue a token in a crypto ecosystem, right? But the big deal is because we're issuing a token across on one blockchain that is synchronized in some way with another blockchain that has another cryptocurrency. We can transfer the cryptocurrency Zen to the other blockchain, the tokenization chain, and we can send Zen back to the main chain. Also, then we can issue tokens here. We can do a whole bunch of application operations on this other chain, and it's the first, right? It's not going to be the last very quickly. So we're going to kick it off with fungible token opportunity or offerings, and then we'll quickly extend them into NFTs. Great. But the next huge breakthrough for us is being able to synchronize an Ethereum virtual machine, an EVM, into a Horizen sidechain. And Alberto gave you a little bit of that update. We're accelerating this, and we're going to push really hard on it. I'm not going to announce specific formal timelines yet until the project is a little bit more mature, and I think we have a bit more of a handle on it. But I can tell you it is the top priority, actually. I mean, and we have different groups in the org that have their own priorities, but from my vantage point, strategically, getting that EVM chain live on mainnet is my biggest priority, because it opens up a world of opportunity for us, and it's the first major step towards the bigger vision that I'll share with you guys. But yes, this gives us the pragmatic things like having DeFi in our ecosystem, like being able to port over thousands of smart contracts that exist in Ethereum and other EVM L1s that are out there that could easily come over here. And I say easily in quotes, but totally doable, and we'll have a developer environment that is very similar to the experience that developers have in these other ecosystems. That's the important thing. We want it to be as smooth and easy of an on-ramp into Horizen as possible, and we want it to be as flexible as possible for them to be able to deploy at scale on their own, not working with our team, not working specifically with anyone in our engineering group as an example, but to just come in and leverage the tools, write smart contracts in Solidity, and deploy them on their own. Right? That's the goal, and it's a huge accelerator for us. And basically, after that, it kind of catches us up to the rest of the industry. And that's where things get really interesting. And again, think compatibility and interoperability. Next up, we will systematically integrate the best of what exists across the industry into Horizen. So think about that specific point, because we're not, in our early days, Zen was a privacy coin. Zen Cash, privacy coin enabling blockchain. We developed, hardening the blockchain with 51% attack protection, putting in the delayed block penalty, doing specific blockchain development that made our core blockchain better, but still, we were a privacy coin, right? Now, everything that I'm talking about here has nothing to do with that original, very narrow mission that we delivered on. And now with Zendoo, we have the opportunity to go much further. We're integrating an EVM, and then we will systematically integrate the best of what exists across the industry into Horizen. Maybe it's an IBC chain. right? Something similar to like Cosmos compatible technology. Maybe it's an EWASM, right? Even when we were internally preliminarily starting to talk about integrating an EVM, some of our team was saying, well, EVM technology is already getting a little outdated. Why don't we focus on something a little bit more forward-looking in terms of virtual machines? And then EWASM came up as one of the opportunities. And already some projects out there have integrated EWASMs into their code bases, and they run this as the primary virtual machine. We can add that as well. Maybe we're going to add Cardano's virtual machine. I don't know, but maybe, and what we'll do is we'll rank order the different things that we could integrate, and we'll have to make some interesting choices and priorities on what we will integrate. But the bottom line is we will integrate many different types of technologies and platforms into the Horizen platform, which is this Zendoo-enabled environment where we can have a multi-chain world. I personally would love to see different privacy technologies deployed in Horizen as well. I would love to see sidechains that do maybe a Mimblewimble implementation. Maybe one sidechain has a crypto node implementation. Maybe we experiment with different snark pools as different sidechains. I don't know. We'll see where the community wants to go with that. Maybe we'll have large enterprise chains in Horizen. I think our technology, especially the things that Horizen Labs is developing, lend themselves really well. Maybe like some of the best in the market on certain enterprise applications, right? So maybe we'll have large players deploying their own blockchains in our ecosystem for their own communities, right? Maybe we'll have dedicated sidechains for specific functions. Like maybe we want a dedicated AMM that's just much more performant than like an EVM-based AMM, even though we'll have plenty of those as well. Whatever it is, whatever it ends up being, the two important things, compatibility and interoperability with the rest of the crypto world, are absolutely key. That's the future for Horizen. This is how we can become the blockchain backbone of the world, is if we actually are compatible and interoperable. And then we can think, if these things are important to you, if maybe as a developer you want to code in Solidity, maybe as a developer you want to code in Haskell and have a smart contracting platform that runs on Cardano's VM, and you want them to be interoperable, natively interoperable, with where you don't have to use risky bridges. Think Wormhole with their big hack on Solana. Think the Poly network last year that had a $600 million hack. If you don't want these types of bridge-based compatibility things, you can have organic, natural, built-in compatibility across these different chains when they're deployed, specifically in Horizen. Right, so this is our big competitive advantage, guys. This is where we're going. This is why we have to keep revisiting big picture and keep driving towards this big vision. This is a huge vision, but the good news is it starts with very specific short-term deliverables. We're done with multi-year projects. I mean, we're going to continue doing that type of deep R&D, but now that we have the platform enabled, now we're going to be doing systematic, shorter-term deliveries. Tokenization going to testnet, I think next month, then mainnet the following month. EVM chain testnet. I mean, I'm not going to give you a date, guys, even though this is extremely high priority for us. First on testnet, and then we're going to push that to mainnet. And then from there, guys, it's our capabilities are only expanding because our team's getting better. We're getting much better ourselves at being able to integrate different technologies. And then importantly, we're opening up the ecosystem. Opening it up first and foremost with the EVM chain. And then we'll open it up even further by providing tools so that other people can integrate the things that are important to them. And it is not just, the Zen Blockchain Foundation or Horizen Labs or other specific companies that are just kind of the one-stop shop for everything. We don't want that. We want the tools to get out there. We want people to integrate them in. Now, we'll be the first to recognize that the early tools for Zendoo were not easy. Deploying your own blockchain in Zendoo, configuring it, not easy. I mean, easy again, put double quotes around that. But it will become much, much easier over time. And we're going to launch the first really big ones ourselves initially, and then just get the tools out there for other people. But the good thing is there are many different types of developers out there. And you've got, like thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Solidity developers out there. And the EVM chain, first and foremost, opens the market to them one fell swoop. So that's the key thing. Now, there aren't as many core blockchain developers who would be comfortable working with, say, like a sidechain SDK, but even those tools will make better over time. All right, so this is what's coming for us, guys, and I'll keep revisiting this periodically. This is the big vision. We have this big vision. We're moving forward on really opening up the ecosystem and compatibility and interoperability. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen in crypto. There's a lot of cool stuff that's already happened. And Zendu, and the way we put together the architecture, enables all of it to potentially exist in Horizen, right? So, and that's the key. And this, again, is our big competitive advantage. So we're going to keep driving on it. We're going to be relentless about it, and you're going to see some of the earliest deliverables hitting mainnet, or I guess testnet first, and then a mainnet near you. Now, this was I kind of rushed through the big vision here, guys, but I wanted to save a little time at the end to introduce someone new to the project who's actually been working with us for a couple months already on the legal framework for kicking off the Horizen Community Council. So Scott, if you can actually chime in here, I would love to introduce you, or please introduce yourself to the community, and let's talk HCC.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. My name is Scott Cohen. As Rob was alluding to, I've been working on the Horizen Community Council project. And for those of you who aren't aware, HCC has been an idea for about 3 years now, maybe more, where HCC is designed to be an organization with the purpose of providing governance to the Horizen ecosystem. And it's obviously a very large step in decentralization of the blockchain ecosystem. So what we've been doing is we've been putting the pieces together to enable HCC to go live. So we've got the white paper substantially drafted. We're currently putting together the initial members of the advisory board, and we are putting the legal structure as well for us to have a nonprofit foundation that serves as the hub for the HCC. I see I'm just about out of time. So the other aspect of it that's very important is that HCC will also serve as a way for the community to interact, hopefully in a more efficient manner, so that we can funnel Zen IPs and coordinate other areas of interest from the community up right through HCC to interact directly with members of our community.
Awesome. Super excited to have you join us, Scott. Welcome to the team, and also super excited for all the things that are coming ahead in the near future. Okay, so we can proceed to the questions now. Thank you, everybody, for contributing with them and also voting. Let's see. So the first one is, where do you have offices? Can community visit?
So we do have a couple of offices right now, and I would say for security reasons, we probably don't want to necessarily publish the locations, but we will actually host some community events. This year was really the year we were thinking we can start hosting some community events. We have an office in New York and we have an office in Milan, Italy. Those are our two major centers, and beyond that, everyone just works remotely, like a good decentralized project. But I do like the question, and we will be organizing something, so we just need to figure out a good balance there. But we would definitely love to meet a lot more of the community this year in person.
Great. The second question is, are you still developing Treasury sidechain that you were talking previously?
We prototyped it in the early days, starting from a white paper from IOHK, and then just a very simple prototype with the idea that you can have use snarks for secret balloting, Zen as stake, allows for delegation and so forth, incentivize people to actually participate. It's a great idea, but what I would say is that the new motto of how we operate today is do more with less and leverage what other people have done. So we probably will continue down the path of, say, a dedicated sidechain for voting. Probably. Not definitely, but probably. Because now we have a new opportunity. And the opportunity is by deploying an Ethereum virtual machine, we can now leverage the entire DAO tech industry that has already exploded outside of Horizen, right? In Ethereum and then some other ecosystems. There's a lot out there. And I think it would be a big mistake of ours to ignore what's out there and just try to build our own thing from scratch. I think you build your own thing when and where it makes sense, and when and where you can, you leverage what's already out there. So we're going to start. Actually, we already have a Solidity dev team in Horizen Labs that's already been evaluating different DAO technologies because of some clients that we have. So that's been a really, really nice head start, and we'll probably I just hate the idea of kicking off a large scale engineering project that will take time to deliver when we could leverage what's already out there in Ethereum or other EVM-based projects and kick off something sooner. So the motto this year, guys, is we want to be nimbler and much more delivery oriented. And the way we're going to do this is by deploying that EVM chain, by doing things like kicking off HCC, by doing things like maybe separating Treasury from Foundation so that we can get the legal structure in place for a DAO. These are the things we're kicking off immediately. And I would hate to have that kind of intense effort to move things in that direction of a DAO and then delay implementing that because we want to build our own thing from scratch. So anyway, just hopefully that gives you a flavor for what's on my mind and how I'm tackling things this year.
Awesome. So we have a third question. It's about HCC, and I believe we have addressed that one already. So I'm going to take the next one. It says, has the labor market for developers and coders been as tight as other sectors of the economy? In other words, how difficult it has been to attract and retain great talent?
I would say even tighter. I mean, devs are always in high demand and have a lot of opportunities around the world. What we've seen differently, I would say, with the pandemic that we went through a couple of years ago was, with everyone just being forced to work from home, and it made companies much more comfortable with employing remote teams, remote workers. And this means that it's taking down, I think, in a very good way, just what would have been just kind of arbitrary geographic boundaries where you would have to live in, say like San Francisco or have to live in New York in order to work for one of these US companies. Now we don't have that. So now we have truly like a true globally competitive labor market, and specifically for people whose jobs naturally lend themselves well to working online, like developers. Now I can say we've done a pretty good job as an organization in attracting and retaining talent. It's a never-ending process. I think some of the ways you do it by having just great organizational culture, like a healthy organization that takes care of its people and actually cares about them, and just sets the right kind of professional development paths that I think people want anyway. And I guess our goal is we can't expect everyone to stay with us forever. But what we want is to make sure that everyone has the career path that they might want otherwise and in normal circumstances might jump ship to go get. Make sure that they have these opportunities with us. Right? And it's not always going to work out, but I think so far we've been able to build a pretty amazing team. And that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of is the team that we have working on this project.
Awesome. So those were the top 3 questions. Love seeing the pictures of the new office. Looks awesome and huge. So super excited for everything that's going on. So this is it. Thanks everybody for joining us here at our Weekly Insider. We'll see you all next Monday for the latest Horizen updates. Have an excellent week. Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Hi guys.
Bye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.